My name is Melissa Miyashiro, and I'm Chief of Staff at Blue Planet Foundation. And you are watching Sustainable Hawaii, filling in for Kirsten Turner here on Think Tech Hawaii. And we have a really exciting show for you today. We're going to be talking about an innovative concept called Action Demand Response. And I am joined today by David Aquino, who is the Director of Innovation at Blue Planet Foundation, and he's going to be sharing a little bit about this innovative concept and also a little bit of background about a Blue Planet program that we're working on with some partners on with demand response. So we'll let David take it away. Thank you so much for joining us today, David.
Thanks, Melissa. Thanks for having me on the show.
Great. So why don't you start us off by giving us a little background information about this demand response concept? What is it and why is it important?
Right. I guess I'll kind of start at the beginning with, as you know, we have this 100% renewable energy goal that we need to meet by the year 2045. And that is getting all of our electricity generation from renewable sources. To reach this 100% goal, here at Blue Planet Foundation, we believe that it's going to take more than just putting up more solar panels. It's going to take more than putting up more renewable energy, I guess you can say. We think that energy efficiency is going to play a big part in it, and also looking at ways, kind of the habits that we have around energy, like when we use energy, and the times of day that we use energy at. Those are all going to be key components to get to our 100% renewable energy goal. And demand response, like we're going to talk about, fits nicely into that picture.
Great. So what are some different ways to manage demand?
Right. So as you all know, and we actually have an image for this, in Hawaii, we actually have this problem, I guess you could say, or it's just a scenario called peak demand. And you can see that blue line over there represents the electricity usage for Hawaii. As you can see, at 8 in the morning, there's a small little jump when everyone gets up and is getting ready for work, and then it kind of levels off throughout the day, and right around 4 p.m., it starts climbing back up again because people are starting to come home from work, they're taking hot showers, they're starting to cook, they're starting to watch the news or whatever they may be doing, plugging in their electric vehicles. So you can see we have this peak right around 4 to 9 p.m. at night that we're all using electricity all at the same time. You can see that yellow line over there, that's actually renewable energy, that's solar energy generation, renewable energy, and that happens all during the day. And unfortunately, you can see that peak doesn't line up with how we're using electricity. So looking at how we can address this peak demand is going to be a key component to achieving our renewable energy goal of 100% renewable energy. And there's a number of ways we can do this. The first way we can do it is, making electricity during the day, and storing it and using it at night when we have this peak demand. As you know, storage isn't quite a viable solution on a utility scale yet. People are doing it on their own homes, but as an entire grid system, we haven't utilized storage as a big component yet. Another way you can kind of address this peak demand is to fire up a power plant and just make more electricity when people need it. And that's currently how we do it in Hawaii, and we have what is called spinning reserve. So we have these power plants that are pretty much on standby. They're on idle, and when people come home and start using energy, we ramp up these power plants, burn diesel fuel or burn coal or whatever it is, whatever fossil fuel we're using, and that's how we meet our peak demand.
And that's all powered with fossil fuels?
Yeah, majority of over 80% of it is coming from fossil fuels like oil and coal. And we're even entertaining the idea of bringing in another fossil fuel, industrial methane, some people call it LNG as well. So most of it is coming from fossil fuels currently. And then looking at the third way that we can help to address this peak demand is looking at not the supply side or making more electricity, but how about the demand side, how we use electricity. So either using less electricity or shifting the time of day when we use that electricity. So right now we use a majority of it from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. So how do we shift that towards times of the day when we're making a ton of renewable energy, a ton of solar power? That's kind of the problem that demand response helps to address. And there's 2 types of demand response. And the first one is this automated demand response or direct load control. So this is where the electric company will actually give you a little device that you put on your water heater, or you put it on your air conditioning, or you put it on your refrigerator, and the utility company actually has control over shutting those appliances off for short amounts of time to reduce the amount of electricity that's being consumed at the moment. And that's automated, it's totally behind the scenes, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. People get compensated, either with a lower utility rate, electricity rate, or they get compensated with like a stipend per month by the utility company. So
I see.
that's direct demand response.
Okay, and then the other type that you were mentioning?
Right, and the other type is what we're going to be talking about today, which is behavior demand response. And that's looking at how we use energy and when we use energy. And that's totally focused on the customer. So it's up to the customer to make these changes and to either reduce or shift their energy usage, but it gives them total control over, the benefits from clean energy and how they use energy, and, and it gives them information on how their home is using energy and how they can improve that.
So how do we get people to change their behavior?
Right, so action demand response, it kind of focuses on three major components. So first is pricing. So we've got to create a pricing scenario where people are encouraged to use energy during the times when we're producing it. So like, for example, during the day when we're all producing a ton of solar power, how do we encourage people to use energy at that time? So, maybe offering a lower electricity rate during that time. And then also looking at the other side of it, how do we discourage people from using electricity during like peak hours? And that's like 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. when the sun's starting to go down, we're losing all of that renewable energy generation. How do we discourage people from using electricity at that time? So demand response helps to address that, and pricing is one key component of it. The second key component is showing people how they're using energy. It's hard to change any action if you don't really know what you're doing. You don't have a baseline, you don't have a pulse on how you're using energy. So showing people how they're using energy is a key component. That can be done through software, where people can get alerts and see their real-time energy usage, and see even which appliances are using those energies. So not just knowing, okay, I'm using 100 kilowatts right now, but how much of that is going to the refrigerator, how much is going to their water heater, how much is going to the pool pumps, the lights, etc. Really breaking it down and showing people how they're using energy. And the third key component of action demand response is giving people this personalized messaging that's specific to how they're using energy in their own home, how their appliances are cycling on and off throughout the day, and really making it specific to that person. Those are kind of the three main components to action demand response.
And are there examples already in play of programs that are using these components to change people's behavior?
Right. So there's been a number of programs rolling out nationwide. There's companies like Power and Bijli who have done these types of programs with Pacific Gas and Electric, Baltimore Gas and Electric, and they've been finding some really interesting results. So action demand response is definitely innovative and new, and it's been done in other places. And Hawaii's actually looking at rolling out a program here in the next couple months as well.
Oh, great. And I know we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but I wanted to hear maybe a little bit more about those examples that you mentioned. What were the results that they got?
Right. So one program that really brought together those three components I spoke about earlier was a program with that Bijli did with Pacific Gas and Electric. And I actually have an image for that, image number 5, and if we could pull that up. But they were actually able to work with 850 customers in this program. And they were all gave them one of these energy monitors, and we're going to talk a little bit more about them later. But they're able to find that, by giving people the correct pricing structure, by giving people the ability to see their energy usage in real time, and by giving people personalized messages, they were able to see about a 7% reduction per household in this program. And if you kind of look at it overall, if they were to scale it up, they would be able to get a 20% reduction in peak demand usage. So really helping to shave off that peak demand that we see here in Hawaii, really helping to reduce that a little and shift more of that towards the time of the day when they're producing a lot of electricity through renewables. And then furthermore, they were able to find that they, and if we move on to, image number 6 and 7, we're able to find that people were able to reduce electricity usage at a much lower cost to the utility than what they were currently doing with their direct load management program. So for the utility, it was really beneficial because they were able to find these energy reductions at a much lower cost and able to reduce all that operation cost that they were spending.
So what exactly are we looking at here on these graphics?
Right. So the Bijli program, like we mentioned, one, showing people how they're using their energy in their own home is important, but also showing them what the breakdown is by appliance. So you can see by the image there, how much is going to your washer, how much is going to your water heater, how much is going to your lights. Those are all data points that I think is important for people to see in order for them to make that conscious decision to change. So whether they're gonna, turn off their whether they're gonna not do laundry at 6 p.m. and instead do that at 12 p.m., if they're able to see that and know what kind of benefits they would get by shifting their energy use, I think that really empowers people and really gets people to participate in a program like Action Demand Response, where they can actually see the change happening and benefit from it on their electricity bill.
So this program is really, or these types of programs are really about empowering people with the knowledge so that they can make choices about how they're using energy and how much their energy is costing. Choices that wouldn't be available otherwise if they weren't equipped with this knowledge. Right,
yeah, and it definitely allows people to participate in renewable energy on a whole new level, beyond just getting solar panels or beyond just getting an electric vehicle. It allows them to actually, in their day-to-day actions, contribute towards renewable energy and benefit from it on their electricity bill.
Right, so what are some of the other benefits for customers for these types of programs?
Right, so for customers, of course, being able to see your electricity usage is one huge benefit because you can identify ways to save, but also being able to actually gain a financial benefit from having or for doing behaviors that are good for renewable energy and good for the planet. I think people really like that idea too. For the utility, of course, they get the benefit of being able to balance supply and demand of electricity, in an almost instantaneous way, while engaging their customers and having their customers participate in that. And then overall, when you look at the overall picture of switching to a more modern grid, a grid that's in the 21st century, that's smart and efficient, demand response, storage, all of these kind of new technologies are going to be integral to making that happen.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit more about that modern grid? What does that mean, to have a modern grid?
Right, so a modern grid, currently, our grid system kind of works like this. You have a power plant, it's burning diesel oil, it's making electricity, and it's pushing that out towards all the homes and businesses in the community. And there's, not any two-way communication. It's kind of like a one-way street. A smart modern grid, I like to think of it more like how you have an iPhone and an iPad, and you can upload information to the internet. You can download information from the internet. There's two-way communication. You can choose, you can choose different web pages to visit, and everything just works in a very smart way. We want our utility and our grid system to work more like that, where people can generate electricity in their own home. They can put that back into the grid. They can buy electricity at different prices from different sources, and really having all of that work seamlessly and efficiently and intelligently. For example, when a cloud passes over all the solar panels in EVA and we lose all of that renewable energy, the grid's able to be flexible and be able to react to that in real time and quickly. So that's all part of modernizing our grid and implementing a smart grid here in Hawaii.
Okay, great. I think we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with David Aquino to talk more about Action Demand Response.
Aloha, this is Reg Baker. I'm the host of Business in Hawaii. We air every Thursday at 2 o'clock on thinktechhawaii.com. We broadcast from the ThinkTech studios in downtown Honolulu, and we talk about positive and successful companies in Hawaii. People that have been successful despite the obstacles. They all have a good story to tell. Hopefully we'll see you on Thursday at 2 o'clock. Aloha.
Aloha, I'm Kaui Lucas, host of Hawaii is My Mainland, here on ThinkTech Hawaii every Friday at 3 p.m. We address issues of importance for those of us who live here on the most isolated landmass on the planet. Please come join me Fridays at 3 p.m. Mahalo.
Hi, we are back with David Aquino, Director of Innovation at Blue Planet Foundation, and we are talking today about an innovative concept called Action Demand Response. So Thank you, David. Before the break, we were talking a little bit about what this concept of modern grid means and also some examples of these demand response programs. So why don't we revisit that a little bit and talk about some of the specific examples, namely the Bidgely program that you mentioned earlier.
Right, so the Bidgely program we were speaking about earlier, like I said, that was a partnership with Bidgely and Pacific Gas and Electric, and they worked with 850 of their customers in this Action Demand Response Program pilot. They were able to install the energy monitors at, I think all of the participants' homes. And if we look at graphic number 6, it started to really key in on the magic of demand response.
Right.
One was showing them their real-time energy use. So if you kind of look at this graph here, you can see, your energy use cycles on and off throughout the day, whether it's your refrigerator coming on and cycling on and off, or your air conditioning kicking in. And you can see towards the end of the day, there's spikes. And this is actually a energy profile of one of our Blue Planet employees who have one of these Bidgely monitors on their homes. So you can
This
see.
is actually in Hawaii that were those.
That chart was actually from Hawaii. So you can see, in the evening time, maybe he did some laundry and then maybe he started watching the news. So you can see those different spikes. But that's kind of what people were seeing as kind of the first layer of information that they were getting. And then if you go over to image number 7, you can see they further got information on what their appliances were using. So not only overall how much you're using, but how much was going towards their water heater, how much was going towards their washer dryer, how much was going towards their air conditioning. So they even got that second layer of data. And even those two things alone would be super valuable in identifying ways that you can save energy in your home, And then it goes even further with the Bidgely study is they started to give personalized messaging, as you can see here, sending out text message that says, hey, at 5 p.m. today, we're all going to be using a ton of energy. Let's try to reduce. Here are some ways that you specifically in your own home can reduce. For example, it will say, we noticed that you're using a ton of air conditioning in the evening. Can you maybe dial that back just a little? And you'll be able to save this much and X amount of kilowatt hours, but more importantly, how many dollars can you save?
So this is linked to their individual profile within the software.
Right. So the software actually, it learns how you use energy in your own home, and it starts to read the digital signatures, which is super interesting and innovative. It'll be like, okay, I've learned over the past several hours that this is a refrigerator going on and off, and this is your pattern of lighting use, and this is how your water heater is using electricity. So you can see the breakdown between different appliances, and it will cater those messages specifically towards you. So I think people like to get that really personalized feedback, like, okay, I always hear these general things of how I can save energy, but how can I specifically save energy in my own home with my lifestyle?
And what does this mean for me?
And what does it mean for me? Yeah. So those kind of messages were what people were seeing. And if you look at this next image, that messaging was really important and really prevalent throughout the entire what they call smart day events, where they would have events throughout the week where the utility company knew they're going to be using a ton of energy, and instead of having to fire up a power plant, what if we just get people to save? So we looked at these different events and saw how people participated, and we did the pre-messaging before the event happened, did the messaging while the event was happening, and then giving people feedback after, and really closing that feedback loop, giving people feedback on how they did, how much energy they saved, and how they contribute to the greater good of the program. And I think people really latched onto that, really personalized information instead of just getting this general kind of, congratulations, this general kind of energy tips. Yeah, it's very personalized.
And they found that it really worked, right?
Right.
The messages really worked.
Yeah, so they found that overall they were able to get about 7% reduction in the participating households. Similar programs, O-Power did one with Baltimore Gas and Electric. They were able to find 3 to 5% reduction. So very similar reductions in energy use, just focusing on people's behavior and how they use energy and when they use energy. And if you go to the next image, actually, you can see the whole spectrum of different ways you can save energy. So if you look all the way on the left, that's kind of just the general messaging on your electric bill, like, hey, turning off your AC saves energy. It's pretty obvious, right? But you still see some energy savings from that. But if you look on the opposite end of the spectrum, where Bidgely was doing, what Bidgely was doing was giving that personalized feedback and all of that messaging throughout, and really showing people their energy use in real time, that's where you get the larger energy savings, up to 12%.
Very cool. So stuff actually works.
This stuff actually works.
That's great. So is there anything like this happening in Hawaii right now?
Right, so Hawaii actually has a demand response program. It's not this action demand response style program that we're talking about. It's the automated demand response program. So that's where the Hawaiian Electric actually gives participants a device for them to put on their water heater or to put on their air conditioning. And the Hawaiian Electric has control over, turning those things off for a short period of time, just enough to get some energy savings. And they have about 38,000 participants amongst the program.
Wow.
I don't believe they're accepting any more participants at the moment, but 38,000 is able to get them about 18 megawatts of dispatchable load shedding. So they're able to shed 18 megawatts of power at any given moment with these 38,000 participants. So there is a current demand response program. It is a little limited and they're not taking any more applicants, but we are looking at launching an actual action demand response program here in Hawaii soon. And we can talk about that a little.
Great, yeah. I'd love to dive into that if you are ready. So why don't you talk to us about this exciting program that's going to be coming online pretty soon?
Right, so Blue Planet Foundation is actually partnering with Bijli to do a pilot program here in Hawaii to see, how does behavioral demand response work in the Hawaii setting. So looking at, specifically Hawaii weather, Hawaii demographics, looking at the different income levels in Hawaii and really finding a program that could benefit the utility, benefit customers, and just benefit our 100% clean energy goal here in Hawaii.
Can you give us a little background on Bijli? So who's Bijli and what do they do?
Right. So Bijli is a software company, and they focus on creating software that allows people to see this real-time energy usage, see the appliance breakdown in their own home, and then also receive these personalized messages. So they're a software company, and they've done programs with PG&E, and they've found a lot of success. So they're looking to bring that success here to Hawaii as well.
But they're not currently based in Hawaii.
Not currently based in Hawaii, but they actually were a business that was born out of the Energy Accelerator. And that's a local accelerator program for energy technology and energy software and just cool energy ideas that want to start as a business. So they were born out of the Energy Accelerator, and they were part of I believe their last cohort, and they wanted to roll out a program that was right here in Hawaii where their business was born. So that's where they wanted to focus on Hawaii. So we're really appreciative.
Yeah, and Hawaii's leading the way, right, with all of these
right
new innovations.
and
new
Hawaii
technology.
definitely is a leader. When it comes to policy, we were the first in the nation to set this 100% renewable energy goal by the year 2045. We're first in the nation for a lot of things, and including innovating and pioneering one of these programs in the action demand response programs with Bijli.
Great. So tell us a little bit about why Blue Planet Foundation wanted to do this project.
Right. So Blue Planet Foundation, of course, we're all totally behind the 100% renewable energy goal, and we recognize, it's going to take more than just putting up more solar panels and, creating more wind energy. It's going to take, everyone kind of putting a hand in it and saying, I want to play a part in this 100% renewable energy goal. And previously, it was tough for residents to get involved, other than maybe getting an electric car and putting up solar. It was like, what else can I do? What can I do specifically in my own home? So things like action demand response allow people to really get involved and really take control and really play a part in clean energy here in Hawaii.
So this is really part of that bridge to 100%, these
Right.
types of programs.
Right. These types of programs, whether they're updating the grid, looking at demand side management, or looking at renewable energy, all of these pieces fit together to get us to our 100% renewable energy goal. And that's really why Blue Planet was interested in getting involved with this program. It was beyond just software, it was beyond just technology. It was how do we get people to think about energy differently in our daily lives? And getting the feedback and getting the personalized messaging, I think, really resonates well with people, especially in Hawaii.
And we're always hearing about new technology that's coming online, and there's so much out there. There's something new every day that seems to be announced. So what makes this particular program unique?
Right. So this program is unique because we currently have the Hawaiian Electric Demand Response Program, but this one takes it a step further, where instead of kind of being passively involved in the program, where the appliances just turn on and off and we don't really think about it, this one really gets you engaged with how can I get involved? How can I change my behavior to, one, benefit our clean energy goals, but also benefit yourself, save electricity and, really take control over your electricity bill. People in Hawaii pay some of the highest electricity rates in the nation, so this is really important for people to be able to feel like they're empowered and have control over their energy usage and know where it's going and know how to reduce and really take control of their energy usage and their energy bills.
Great. Okay, so walk us through this program. How do people get involved and what are the next steps?
So the first way to get involved, to learn more about the program, just visit blueplanetfoundation.org/ADR. ADR stands for Action Demand Response. There you can just give us your name and email. We'll send you more information on how to get involved with the program. And from there you can make a decision whether or not this program would be right for you. It is a pilot, so it is something brand new, it's fresh. We're offering it to the first 750 people for free.
So no cost to participants?
No cost to participants, yeah. Only in this pilot though. So we're looking for 750 participants coming from all different backgrounds and area, zip codes, and really trying to get a good snapshot of how demand response would work here in Hawaii. So we're looking for 750 participants. There's no cost to the participant. And the installation process is actually pretty simple. It takes about half an hour. Blue Planet Foundation will send a Blue Planet representative along with a certified electrician out to your home. They'll actually be installing this energy monitoring kit.
What are all these pieces here?
So you can go through some of the pieces here just so you get an idea of what's involved with the installation process. So the electrician is going to just remove the panel on your main circuit breaker. They're going to clamp on these two little C-clamps to the incoming live wires. So it's not going to screw onto anything. It's just going to simply clamp right around. It's going to send information from that box through the transmitter to this hub, which is going to be connected to your wireless router.
So you need a wireless router to participate in the program?
Right. You need a wireless router and you need to pay an electricity bill. And of course, if you pay an electricity bill, you can benefit financially from this.
Okay, and does Blue Planet help with the scheduling and getting the electrician to your house?
Right.
What's the process for that?
Yeah, so once you decide that you want to participate in the program, Blue Planet will send you a schedule where you can pick what day and time you'll be available for the electrician and the Blue Planet representative to come to your home. Once that date comes around, we'll come out to your home, we'll hook everything up for you, and we'll walk you step by step through the process of, explaining, how to set up an account, what these different graphs are showing you, and how to best utilize this Bidgely software to your advantage.
Okay, great. And we'll dive more into the installation process when we come back from a short break.
Okay, this is Think Tech Hawaii, and it's Wednesday. Every Wednesday is Energy Wednesday here in Hawaii, the state of clean energy. 4 to 5 p.m. every Wednesday. Come and listen to us. And just to show you what I mean, I'm going to ask Sharon to tell us more.
Come and see us every Wednesday, as Jay said. And we have people like Jim Albers from HECO here and co-host Ray Starling here every Wednesday. We not only go on Olelo and OC16, but also stream live. So please come visit us, hear about the latest in clean energy.
Okay, Jim, you've been here. You got any comment on all this?
As important as energy is in all of our lives today, this is a great forum and a great format to vet those issues. So I encourage everybody to listen in and participate.
Okay, Ray, what do you think for a close?
Well, I think this is the greatest show in the energy world here in Hawaii. You can come here every week, 1 hour, and catch the latest on what's happening and hear from the people who really know what's going on, like Jim Alberts. We appreciate your coming today.
Thank you.
Ray Starling, Sharon Moriwaki, Jim Alberts, and Jay Fidel here in Hawaii, the state of clean energy. 4 to 5 p.m. Wednesday. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha, we are back with David Aquino from Blue Planet Foundation talking to us about this cool, innovative partnership with Bidgely and Blue Planet Foundation installing free home energy saving devices in homes across Oahu. So David, why don't you were talking a little bit about the installation process, so why don't you walk our listeners through that process?
Right, so to participate in the program, we're looking for 750 participants. All you have to do is pay an electricity bill because we want you to benefit from the energy savings, and have a Wi-Fi router, which I'm guessing a lot of people have here in Hawaii. So basically, once you sign up for the program through our website, blueplanetfoundation.org/ADR, Action Demand Response, you'll be able to schedule an appointment for a Blue Planet representative and an electrician to come to your home to do the installation of this energy monitor that you'll be receiving. And this is a part of Vigili's software package that's really going to help you maximize the Action Demand Response program.
Okay, so the electrician comes to your house, and then what?
The electrician and me or one of our Blue Planet team members arrives at your home. The electrician is going to take off your main circuit, the panel on your main circuit board, and he's going to be installing some of the hardware, which you see here. He's going to take these two C-clamps. He's going to clamp them onto the two live wires coming into your circuit breaker. This circuit breaker is usually found in the restroom or like your laundry room or maybe some parts of the kitchen. Then clamp those C-clamps on, and he's going to hook them up to this transmitter. And this transmitter is going to transmit all of that energy data to your wireless router. This hub's going to be connected to your wireless router. And that's going to be putting all of the information online so you can view it on your laptop, you can view it on your cell phone, you can view it on your tablet, whatever works best for you. And this is where you're going to be able to view your energy in real time. You're going to be able to see it broken down by appliance. So that's all the things you're going to be able to see through the hardware and software through Vigili.
You'll be able to see that on your phone.
You'll be able
you
to,
can check
right.
how much energy your home is using.
Right, and it's a simple installation process. Only takes about half an hour. And while the electrician is putting in all the hardware, a Blue Planet representative is going to be with you, walking through the steps of how to set up an account. Walking you through the steps of what are these different graphs showing you? How can I utilize them during the Action Demand Response events?
What are those Action Demand Response events?
Right, so the Action Demand Response events there's going to be 10 of them spread out throughout the pilot program. And these are going to be events where we're going to actually ask people participating to save energy or shift energy use to different times of the day. So you may get a text on your phone, or you may get a pop-up alert that says, hey, today at 5 p.m. we're going to have our first action alert event. We're going to have a goal of reducing our electricity usage by this much. Here are some ways that you can do it in your own home, whether it's turning down your air conditioning, maybe not doing your laundry in the evening, but shifting that more towards the middle of the day. And it's going to give you a whole list of options that you can choose from as far as what you can do to save energy.
And money too, right?
And money as well. When the event happens, you get constant messaging showing you, okay, how are you doing? Are you on track to meeting your goal? What are additional things you can do? And then after the event is over, and they usually typically last no more than 2 hours, then you'll get feedback. How did you do? How much money did you save? As a whole, as 750 participants in this program, how did you guys do? What was the impact? And if we were to scale that up even larger, maybe what would that mean for Hawaii? Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. So that's where the magic happens in these action events.
Right, and of course, the biggest part is people's behavior, is people participating and wanting to save money on electricity bills and wanting to contribute to clean energy.
And being empowered to make those choices.
Being empowered being empowered to make those choices. And I think from a Blue Planet perspective and from a perspective of Hawaii, a lot of times people wonder, how can I always hear about we need clean energy and, we need this and that and 100% clean energy by 2045. But what does that mean for me? What can I do? I have solar or I can't get solar. I have an EV or I can't afford an EV. What else can I do besides those things, People
want to be a part of the solution.
People want to be a part of the solution, but a lot of times they don't know how, or they don't know what they can do in their own home. Or sometimes, when we try to message different things like different ways people can save energy, it's not always personalized. They're like, okay, that's not quite my lifestyle, or that doesn't quite fit with, I have 3 kids, I can't, that's not a possibility for me. But this one gives you personalized information and recommendations on how you can save energy, and it allows people to participate in renewable energy, even if they can't get solar, even if they can't have the electric vehicle.
So what about people that do have solar? Can they still participate in this pilot program?
Yeah, people who have solar can definitely still participate. And it's interesting, I have solar on my home, and I fall into the kind of thinking like, okay, I got solar, I'm good, I don't need to do anything else, I did my part. But little do I know is that at night, when my panels aren't making energy, I'm contributing to this peak demand that we face every day here in the islands. So like I'm still using energy at night, I'm still watching TV, or I'm still
Using fossil
cooking, I'm still
fuels.
I'm using fossil fuel electricity at that time. So just because you have solar, it doesn't mean there's not anything else you can do. Energy efficiency and shifting your energy usage to different times of the day when you can maximize your solar, maximize renewable energy is important. So there are steps that people, even with solar, can take, and people who have solar can participate in this pilot program. And you'll actually be able to see how much your solar panels are producing, but also how much your appliances are using in your home. So you can look for further ways to save energy beyond just having solar panels.
Because I know some solar installations come with some type of software that shows how much energy you're using. Is this similar to that, or is it different?
Yeah, so it's different. The software that usually comes with the solar panels will show you, how much your solar panels are producing, and maybe how much your home is using as a whole. But it definitely doesn't show you, by appliance, how much your home is using, and it definitely doesn't give you recommendations personalized to your home's energy usage. So it's slightly different. So a lot of people get it confused, like, when we talk to them about this energy monitor, they're like, oh, I already have that. My solar company gave it to me. And it's like, yeah, that's good that you're able to know how much your panels are producing, but also this gives you a lot more granular data. And this gives you actually personalized recommendations on how you can reduce energy usage.
And especially at what times of day they're using energy, and does that correspond
Right.
to when
Right.
their solar panels are generating energy?
Right. And like we spoke about before, your panels are creating a ton of energy, at high noon when the sun is out, but at evening when the sun goes down, so does your solar energy production. So at that time, is probably when you're using a lot of energy, when you're coming home, you're starting to cook, you're starting to take hot showers, is the same exact time that you're not producing any more solar energy. So how do we make those two align? And action demand response helps to address that by helping you shift some of that energy load towards times of the day when your solar panels are producing a lot of energy.
Great. This is really cool stuff.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, a lot of solar owners might be part of this net energy metering program. So actually getting credits for the electricity that their solar panels are generating during the day. So if you think about it, the more you can reduce the energy usage in your own home, the more credits you can get, and that's beneficial to you. So there are a number of benefits for people who already have solar to participate in an action demand response program.
Great. Very cool. And why don't we kind of wrap up this discussion, recapping a little bit about how does this demand response concept fit into Hawaii's 100% renewable energy goal?
Right. So I think 100% renewable energy goes beyond just solar panels, beyond just wind energy, beyond geothermal. It goes to everyday behaviors that people can participate in and everyday actions people can take to play a part in this 100% clean energy goal. Historically, people could only get solar or get an electric vehicle, and kind of that was it. Maybe be a little more, put in CFL light bulbs or LED light bulbs. But this gives people, a much more granular way and a much more meaningful way that they can get involved in their own energy usage in their own home and play a part in this 100% clean energy goal. And I think that, in the end, if we're able to not fire up a power plant at 4 p.m. and instead use demand response to meet that need, I think that'll be a cool thing for people to say is like, I play a part in that, like I am playing an active role in helping get 100% renewable energy for my home here in Hawaii. And me being a local boy, that really means a lot to me, and being able to, to play a part in making my home a better place.
Yeah, we're all in this together, and
Yeah.
we're all going to have to get there together.
Right.
That's great. Great. Well, in our final few minutes, are there any other Blue Planet programs that are focused on community action that you'd like to talk about today?
Yeah, we actually have another program that's focused, not on residents so much, but more on our nonprofit sector. And that the program's called WeFficiency, and it's a crowdfunding platform that helps nonprofits raise funds to purchase things like solar panels, purchase things like LEDs, and purchase clean energy upgrades to help them save money on their electricity bills.
So how does that concept work?
Right. So if you're familiar with Kickstarter or Indiegogo or some of those other crowdfunding platforms, it works similar to that. People can, go online, see, all the different projects participating. For example, they could see, okay, YWCA is trying to do this energy saving project, or Damien High School is trying to do this project, or Boys and Girls Club is doing an energy saving project, and these are the benefits that are going to come out of it. They're going to be able to help more clients. They're going to be able to reduce electricity bills. They're going to be able to just provide more benefits for the community instead of paying so much of the resources towards electricity bills. So
why did you, or why did Blue Planet choose nonprofits to focus on for this program?
We chose nonprofits because we feel like that's the area that's really been lacking in providing, solutions for clean energy and solutions to reduce electricity bills. In a home, you can get solar, you can get a loan, you can do a zero down kind of thing for solar panels. Businesses, if it makes total financial sense for them, they'll put the upfront investment. Nonprofits are kind of stuck like right in the middle. A lot of them don't have credit enough to go out for these loans. And a lot of them are focused so much on their programs and putting all of their resources and time into, serving their clients and benefiting our community that they just don't have the resources or the time or the energy to think about these energy upgrades, because all of their time is spent on day-to-day operations. So efficiency takes that out of their hands and, comes up with the funding, comes up with the crowd of support to make that clean energy upgrade a reality. And in the end, year after year after year, they'll be saving thousands, as we found in our past programs, thousands on their electricity bills. And those are all dollars that can go instead towards benefiting their programs and benefiting our community.
Okay, great. And we're just about out of time, but why don't you go through the 2 links where people can find out more information about Action Demand Response as well as the We Efficiency program that you mentioned.
Right. So for Action Demand Response, if you want to become one of the 750 participants to participate in this innovative program, go to blueplanetfoundation.org/ADR. And if you want to find out more about We Efficiency, you can shoot me an email, info@weefficiency.org, or you can go to weefficiency.org to see all of the projects we've participated in the past. We've done 5 successful nonprofit projects already and raised, over $500,000 in crowd funds for these nonprofits. So you can see all the success stories and learn more about how you can get your nonprofit involved or recommend a nonprofit to us that you want to get involved for 2016.
And you're recruiting right now, right? For
Right. So
nonprofits
this year we're looking for, our nonprofit for 2016. As you know, we're excited to work with nonprofits across Hawaii, and we would love to hear your recommendations on nonprofits that could really benefit from a program like this.
Great. So that was wonderful. And all of these projects and programs are really about empowering the people to take,
Right.
a big role in creating our energy future and getting to 100% renewable energy.
Definitely.
That's great. Okay, well, that concludes our show for today. Thank you so much. Again, I'm Melissa Miyashiro at Blue Planet Foundation, and David Aquino, also from Blue Planet Foundation, signing off, and thank you so much.
Thank you.